Welcome to Human Relations, Managing Human Relations, Chapter 1. And of course, you're taking with me online or on a face-to-face class or a blended course. Let's talk about Chapter 1. I'll be going just through mind maps, through the mind map, and you'll have those available either on my website or in the course management the section that you're taking me with. Okay, human resource management. What's the first thing we need to do with human resource management? If I look at human resource management, what I'm going to be looking at, let me just move this over a little bit. We're going to be looking at policies. We're going to be looking at what I call policies, practices, systems that influence employees' behavior, attitudes, and performance. As I indicated in the overview, this does make a difference whether you're a small company or a large company. A small company, when you have two or three individuals, you basically are the HR and everything else. There's only one individual. And once you start, as you hit around 75, then you start having too many people. It's harder to manage and to make sure that they're all being taken care of. So you start coming up with policies, practices, and systems that influence employees to be motivated, to have a good, positive attitude. You'll kind of shape their behavior while they're at work, and their attitudes towards the customers and their performance. So that's basically just a quick overview. What do you need to know? Well, you got to understand what human resource management is. Remember, human resource management is the physical capital of individuals. It's the most expensive part of any business operation, but it's the most profitable if utilized properly. Identify responsibilities of the HR department. I'm already assuming you're either an HR manager or you are either an HR manager and wear different hats. Because a lot of small and medium companies, the HR manager wears more than just the HR hat. Okay, but this will still work. But as the company grows, then you can start looking at departmentalization and just having a strictly an all HR facility. Explain the role of supervisors in HR. Discuss ethical issues in human resource management. Describe typical careers. I mean, from a smaller business, it's wide open. As the company grows, you'll have more. You'll have HR reps. You'll have the next level dealing with the management. You have one just dealing with benefits. You have one doing with motivation, and all those are resources to the management, to the organization as a whole. Okay, so what's some practices we have? Part of HR, when you look at it, is basically planning and changing management. When I want to bring new individuals into the company to change the culture, I change the top management, and the HR is assisting what type of individual meets those attributes that I'm looking for. Or I want to change employees, how I write my job description, job specification, and how I hire and interview the type of employee that I'm looking for the future culture or an existing culture. So I do the recruiting, I do the selection part, I am assisting. The manager still makes the ultimate decision, but I bring him a list of 3 or 4 candidates he or she could select. The compensation, how much should they pay for their skill sets, and performance management. So if you look at the compensation, rewarding employees, evaluating the performance, employee relations, creative, positive work, you'll train and develop. And as a manager in HR, you're going to do a lot of your functionality will be training, the selection, choosing them, and attracting the people, planning, supporting organizational strategy. Which way is the company going? Do we need more engineers? Do we need more sales things? Do we need more manufacturing type of individual? And all this is basically so the company will perform at its maximum potential, but always learning. At companies with effective human relation management, employees and customers tend to be more satisfied. You have a happy employee, you're going to have a happy customer. Develop more favorable reputation in the community. You're bringing in the top-notch individuals. And a lot of times these individuals are self-motivated. They want to share and give back to the organization. Okay, the company tends to be more innovative and greater productivity. This is what you're looking at, productivity. Technology will help us so much, but it's the human element that within the organization that gives it the soul, the breadth of that company. Okay? Now, so let's go into human capital. Again, insight, training, experience, judgment, relationship, intelligence. This is everything that I'm looking for in an individual. Human resource management implies that employees are resources of an employee. When I hire an employee, I look at him for their behavior, the social behavior, but what kind of task could he or she accomplish that I need? I can't do it myself, so indirectly I'm doing an indirect outsourcing. I'm bringing that individual in. They work for the organization. They are part of the organization, part of the family, depending on the type of structure you have. Some are more cold, for lack of better words, more bureaucratic, and it's a defined line. As long as you meet my tasks, as long as I need your services, you're working for me. Afterwards, I just give you a buyout and leave. Other companies want you to grow and try different things, so then you have the the soul of the organization from the beginning. As you expand, you understand all the aspects of the company. That's where most companies are striving. Those where you're looking at, if a lot of the companies overseas, smaller companies, but they have that soul. In the American organization, I think we're missing that soul, that camaraderie, that we're all together. Where it's okay, what is it for me, but not what is it for the organization. Okay, sustainable and competitive. Human resources. I have to have the right individual to be able to function as a company, which makes me sustainable. It means people buy my product or my services, and human resources cannot be imitated. Even though I have machines that gives me knowledge, you still need that thinking, that creativity. There's no computer in the world that thinks like the human mind. There's some that come close, but not exactly. Okay, knowledge are sometimes rare. Human resources have no good substitutes. Human resources are a valuable asset. Okay, analyze and designing a job. Part of HR comes into two components. When I look at job analysis, that gives me job description and job specification. So job analysis, making sure I know exactly what tasks I need done, and I hire the individual that will meet those tasks and exceed them, but not over exceed them where he or she becomes bored within the organization. The next one we have is job design. I designed a job that motivates the individual, that gives them that intrinsic feeling that, hey, I am worth something, I am helping the organization. Okay, recruiting and hiring, recruitment processes. Where do I find the individual from college? Do I bring him from within the organization? Do I train? Do I pay for student tuition? A lot of companies are doing that. Selection, how do I identify this individual? There's a set of assessments we'll be learning as you take me through the series. There's interpersonal communication. There's some nonverbal cue signs that I could pick up. There's recommendations. There's other things, social media sites that individuals there. There's the behavioral interviews you'll be learning about. And what I'm looking for is skills and ability and other characteristics. Okay, qualities of a job candidate. You got to be honest. As honest I could get. All right, interpersonal skills, able to talk to the individual, not just all the time, but when when the person is yelling, screaming at him, or the person is unresponsive, or what do you call it? They're upset with the organization. Talking to them when everything's going right is easy, but the good communication and particular skills is how do I diffuse the situation is getting out of hand. Strong work ethics, the Protestant work ethics. Younger individuals got the strong work ethics, but you want to be rewarded faster than were the baby boomers. If you look at different generations, they would want more security. Younger individuals, hey, I want it now. I want to enjoy life now as I go forward. Then I live for the moment, or within a certain realm, a little bit different than baby boom. But they still have a good, strong work ethic. It's just how do I motivate that class of individuals, work group. Team skills, how do I work with the teams, analytical, how do I think, motivation and initiative, flexibility, I got to be able to adjust. Sometimes I don't have all the equipment in a small company, some of the larger company have a lot of rules and policies, but I have to kind of adjust to still make it work. Computer skills, you're not going to get around with computer skills. You need some kind of technical computer skills. Computer skills are an asset. They're a tool to help me be more flexible and sustainable. And detail orientation, I have to understand the whole process and then finally get into the one aspect that I'm trying to be doing. Okay. Now, train and development employees. How do I train employees? Plan effort. They have to know the job, the regular tasks, and I got to develop them so they have certain skills, certain behavior that fits into the culture, and also so they could grow and become a learning individual that fits into my learning type of company. Okay. Now, performance management, managing performance. If I'm looking at managing performance, there's several things that I'm going to be looking at. It's the process of ensuring that employees' activities in human resource department may be responsible for developing, obtaining questionnaires and other devices. You need to understand what is going to motivate them, not what management thinks. What do the employees think that's important over the pay? You're going to talk about Maslow and Herzberg and all that. Output match the goals, okay? Planning and benefits. You have to make sure how much to offer in salary and wages to be competitive so the person does not leave after I train him and go to my competitor because they're paying him at 10 cents or 20 cents more an hour. We could afford it. If we can't, it's a different issue. But if you're looking at cost management, right now we're looking at human resources. How do I maintain and retain these individuals? How much bonus to offer? That means how much extra work they put in there, which benefits to offer, and how much will cost shared by all the employees. System, attracting the system. Technology comes in good. Extensive record keeping, reporting is needed to make sure that you're paying the individual for the work that he or she's done above and beyond. An employee needs information about their benefit plan. So it's got to be a feedback so they know how where do they stand. Could they still achieve it, or they have to work harder? You need a policy book. After 75 individuals, even if you fire an individual and they take you to court, they sue you, you never know. They're going to say, did the individual know about your policy? You could buy a generic policy book or get a generic policy book. There's the SHRM.org organization. You'll be a member there. And you need a basic policy. The Small Business Administration will give you a small policy book just so you have a general policy. Here's how you terminate. It gives you respect and everything else, and it gives you more of a detail. And I have individuals so they know exactly what are the rules for termination, what for any kind of a grievance procedure if you would have, what are the vacation, how does it pay, and a lot of stuff would be generic because it would be what the state laws accept, and then above and beyond what you want to add to them. So you have that flexibility. Okay, collective bargaining contract if you have it. Sometimes you may be a small business, but you have to deal with the local union, plumbers or electricians or carpenters. So you still have the local. Will be looking for your books, your timesheets to make sure that you're using local union employees, if that is the contractual agreement you have with the local. If you're a non-union shop, they have different issues, but sometimes you may have union members there paying like an additional fee. Okay, establishing administrative, communicate policies, hiring, discipline. What are benefits? A careful, respectful, discreet record keeping. Okay, so we have that. Encouraging compliance with the laws, avoiding unbehavior. When you look at that down chapter, we're going to have a whole thing about the laws. Supporting organizational structures, planning, skilled professionals you have to do, corporate social responsibility, how much do I give back to the community that the organization wants to do as a good corporate citizen, and stakeholders, everyone who touches the organization. And they're basically my keys in watching. Ethics, ethical behavior. Me as an HR representative must be ethical because people come to me. I have to keep what they tell me confidential, even though I'm a management position, but I'm talking about another employee or another manager, unless it's important for the organization to know. But so I have ethical issues. I always respect employees' rights, and the whole chapter. Ethical companies act according to principles, assume responsibility for action in the company. Remember, HR, you make sure that the management, the people you bring in, are ethical and follow the code of ethics that you have. And the standards for identifying employment practices, respect for human rights, these are the basic ones. All right? Well, that's it for this first chapter. And again, you're doing well. Welcome to Human Resource Management, and this is a series that I'm doing. Either you're taking me at a college level, you're taking me to some other venue that I teach the same material, but make sure that you do the reading and you look at it and everything that we're talking, put yourself in as an HR manager, and you start thinking as an HR manager, not as a supervisor. Even though you are connected to them, you understand where they're coming from, you're looking at to make sure that you maintain integrity with the employees, you support the employees, you help the employees motivate, grow, and develop, and by doing this, they will have a long loyalty commitment to the organization, and the organization grows because they got employees that are happy, and then basically if they're happy, they'll be able to bring more customers in because the customers will see that joy within your employees. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. Thank you very much.